Hello, this is Willow. This is a highlight from my stream on the 23rd of January 2022. I go live nearly every day, and I hope to see you there. I know what that's like, having a lot of pain and not being able to sleep. I hope you feel better soon, honestly, like, really. Landing on the Garden of Terror. Wait, it's called Garden of Terror? I've been just calling it Garden Terror the whole time. Right. That can always be an issue, you know? Like, internet providers. Some of them, they're not all built equal, I suppose. Our ally team's shaping up to have a lot of damage. The Brightwing ban, I think, is an excellent idea, as that character is probably the second best healer in the game at the moment. Behind, of course, Mr. 65%. You know, I even tweeted at Blizzard. Yes, I am. I am in the US. US East. So it is 10 p.m. here for me. I am going to lock in my Mephisto. Oh yes, they absolutely are. I happen to luck into being in a good area with a good one, but you can get screwed over really hard by ISPs over here. They have a lot of those, like, background agreements where there's only one in certain areas, so you don't even have a choice half the time. And if you just happen to be in an area with a really bad one, well, that's it. The enemy team with the Alexstrasza Zarya, two very unconventional picks that I think are awful. Just gonna be straight up, I think both of those characters suck, which is sad because Alexstrasza is one of my favorite characters to play. Enemy team picking up the, or allied team picking up the Diablo and Nazebo, which I respect. I mean, I don't know why I just went so hard on Alexstrasza. Right. I live in a pretty decent area, right off a city. I think I have like 200 down, 11 up, so like, I've got a very good internet here. I got very lucky. Looks like we're going for the Garrosh ban, which makes sense. I really hope we don't get a Nova, honestly. Nova has a 44.5% win rate for a reason. You know, I mean, all considering, that's still pretty good. Like compared to some people I know, they get like 20 down. Which is just terrifying. Like, that's so low. It's really sad. Ah, we do get the Nova. I hope this is like the best Nova in the entire world. She doesn't, I mean, she does have a 55% on Nova, so I suppose I shouldn't be too worried. However, the enemy team do manage to secure the Vala pick. Oof, that's really not great. No, it really isn't. I used to have really shit internet, and it was not fun. The enemy team is actually very scary. However, I think we have secured a pretty decent team as well, though I am a little bit worried about our damage output. I'm gonna have to make sure that stacking my quest is my #1 priority. However, the enemy team does have an incredible pick in Vala. However, it also has one of the lowest win rate healers in Alexstrasza, and a character I don't think fits into the game very well, and Zarya. Orphea is an incredible mage, and Stitches is a mediocre tank. Fatiguing the enemy team a bit hard here. However, I haven't actually fought them yet, so perhaps I am counting my eggs a little bit too early. Missing my first Q of the game, which is not like a good sign. Diablo getting an excellent flip on the enemy Vala, however, the Alexstrasza is able to heal her back up perfectly fine, getting some nice damage out on the enemies. Zarya is very high on energy, however, it's not that much of a problem, in all honesty. Nova looking like she wants to go to solo lane alongside our Anduin. Diablo going in, getting the charge on the enemy Zarya, but not getting much out of it. Alexstrasza puts down her heal, healing the enemy team up. Diablo wishes to take a siege camp, which makes sense to me. You know, have you actually ever tried Mephisto? Like, have you played him? Because I really recommend it. He's like the most fun mage in the game for me.
That should help us.
I mean, ARAM is pretty fun. I don't play it all that much, but I tend to enjoy it.
Who wants to capture this?
I do recommend you giving Mephisto a little bit more of a chance. Although I don't know if you really like playing ranged assassins or mages very much. It's not for everyone. The first seed of the game spawning in the bottom right position of the map. Technically giving the advantage to the enemy team, although the advantage is mostly negligible. Vala pushing up hard, but does not get flipped by Diablo. The enemy team attempting to get a camp, however, it's a little bit too late for that. I'm not entirely certain what they're doing, to be totally honest. However, I will move up to support them and attack the Stitches, I guess. Teleporting in to try to get some damage off on the enemies, however, nothing really comes of it, and Orphea does manage to land her E on me because of the guaranteed teleport back. I am in a large amount of hurt. Anduin's healing is enough to sort of keep me alive, however, it will not be enough longer unless he manages to get one more heal off on me, but he does not. Yeah, the teleport is very strange to get used to. Honestly, I think the better a Mephisto is, the less they use the teleport. I think that's a general rule of thumb, and I think I still overuse it too much. Enemy Stitch is getting caught in the zombie wall by just walking into it a little bit. Zarya pushing down the middle wave. Not going to get much value. However, Vala here could burst me down in a second. I need to be very careful against her. A big team fight happening in the bottom, and Diablo has to back. Anduin getting hooked by the Stitches. However, he is okay as there is no follow-up damage. We need to make sure we have level 7 for this fight. Clearing this wave is an excellent step into taking that. And we have secured level 7. As the second seed of the game spawns. Going to try to get some poke off on Stitches. Not much. Getting hooked. Stitches get it, or Diablo getting hooked by the Stitches, trying to keep the little plants off of Nazeebo, but it is not enough as Zarya does manage to bombard us off the point. Nova getting taken down by Orphea somewhere that I was not watching. Diablo going in, but does not manage to secure any sort of CC. I am in a huge risk here, in a very dangerous position, and it looks like we will be forced off the point because we have a Nova. trying to get some damage off, dying.
We think you do good job. Fun to watch.
Was not able to delay the plant. Honestly, it's not the best manners. But I did say I hope we don't have a Nova before this game started. Diablo getting a nice flip into stun off on the enemy Stitches. However, Stitches has so much tankiness and survivability that it appears that even with 3 members of the ally team, we are not going to be able to take him down, and Zarya backing him up secures his escape, but just barely. Nova being pulled under the enemy towers, almost dying. Diablo very likely soon to follow, however he does make it back to safety. We are very far behind on XP, and it looks like I will be staying in Gold 1 Purgatory for a little bit longer.
There's my precious.
Finishing the first stage of my quest is nice, as it gives me a nice boost on the damage of my Q. It was absurd. Stitch is walking at me. Not exactly the most intimidating thing ever, however, with the Alexstrasza follow-up, it means he is not likely to fall anytime soon. Yeah, that was the weirdest fight I've ever seen. Nova just get... Oh no. Oh no! I have been... Oh, an excellent life clear by the ally. Anduin is not enough to save me. You know, I'm playing like shit this game. I'm just gonna put that there. I'm not playing well. I've got 3 deaths. Nova being bullied by the Vala under tower. But however, the Zarya shield is enough to keep Vala healthy. We do not have level 10, while the enemy does. This means we are at a massive disadvantage in terms of this fight. Stitches is able to simply walk at us because of the plant ability of the enemy. Garden Terror, disabling our structures. We do obtain our heroics. However, will it be enough to turn the flow of this game? I don't think so.
Terrors are nothing but compost and memory.
I mean, Nova's damage is fine. I'm probably blaming her for too many things. This isn't solely on her. The enemy team massing for a push top, however it looks like they have decided not to, though very likely they will continue their push shortly. Vala poking at our Diablo. I'm going to try not to get hook gorged. This is a very risky path to take. Yes. Our fort, or keeps. No. Just semantics, please, over here. The first line, these are forts. And then these guys, these are keeps. Just gotta put that useless knowledge out there, you know?
That should help us.
But yes, we are behind on structures, and our Diablo is attempting to fight the enemy Stitches. However, we will not be taking him down, as our damage is not enough. Diablo really looking for this fight, honestly. Probably a little too much, however, it looks like we may be able to take down the enemy Stitches.
Ooh, that corpse make for good.
Surprisingly, but the enemy has massed a massive push in the bot lane, though they have retreated as they wish to obtain the next seed. We are a talent tier behind. And it looks like we won't have enough time to kill minions in order to gain this talent. The enemy team opting to take a camp.
And don't fret about the shamblers.
Diablo going in, attempting to get some excellent damage off on the Zarya. However, she will be healed up by Alexstrasza, and our Diablo is in severe damage. A decent Diablo ult is not enough to get anything done. Nova trapped in the Zarya ult. However, she does manage to escape. The Ravenous Spirit is getting some massive damage off on the enemy team, but the Zarya bubbles are keeping them alive. Finally getting my quest done. My damage should be great. However, I am now going to be put behind the walls of the fort and will be dead.
My.
With my death,
Another seed. I trust you know
We
what to
got
do,
the seed.
heroes.
I didn't see that happening. However, the next one spawning a little bit before my respawn. With my level 13 talent, I should now be able to do much more damage to the enemy team. You know, honestly, this game has been such a clusterfuck. And we don't have a single structure down.
Shouldn't you be gathering that seed, heroes?
Seriously? I really don't like the Nova pick. I don't know if I'm harping on that too much, though. This is exactly what I would call not good. Teleporting out, however, I will be returned back in. Trapped in the Zarya ult. My life shall end if I don't get enough healing. Anduin also taken down. Diablo about to be taken down. And the Nazebo is in the enemy belly of the Stitches. Nazebo's life has ended. However, Nova, completely fine, just walks away. This is... Gosh, this is such a cluster.
Our fort is destroyed and dead.
That bitch heal herself. 2 full HPs. Nova, mad in chat. I mean, honestly, Orphea does have a lot of healing, but that's kind of her thing. Behind 2 levels, a massive deficit in XP. Stitches is terrifying, and I'm going to run away because I do not want to be gorged. Goive. The enemy team opting to take our siege giants. Nazebo with the excellent call to get XP. Nova being left to soak the top lane alone. And no one has stayed middle. We've all gone bot. Nova looks like she's actually attempting to fight the enemy and will be taken down despite the calls to not fight.
We should defend this fort.
I am contained no longer.
Oh, it looks like a viewer has disappeared. Are you still here, Cthulhu?
A new seed is set to sprout.
Just want to make sure, because, you know, you haven't talked in a bit. Maybe I'm just being too focused.
Choose a talent. We should defend this fort.
Looks like we are going to attempt to fight the seed. However, I will quickly clear out a merc camp. I guess you're not here? Just using my ult to try to get some damage down on the enemy team, but it will likely be healed up. A light bomb on the ally. Diablo is getting some value off. However, Alexstrasza is able to escape, and the Ravenous Spirit is not enough to take down anybody, as our Diablo falls. Getting hooked by the Stitches is terrifying, honestly. I'm going to try to get some damage off on the enemy Orphea, however, I am in considerable danger. Being taken down
You take nap?
by the enemy team.
Lightwing take nap too.
Oh, it looks like Cthulhu is gone. That's sad.
Our fort has exploded. Oh no!
Maybe you went to bed. That's possible. Terror is pushing in on all of our keeps. This looks like a bad situation for the allied team. I'm gonna try to clear a little bit, however. On my own, I am in far too much danger.
Our fort
The
is
enemy
destroyed.
team 3 levels up on us still.
The enemy is doing bad things to our core. We no longer have a fort.
Pushing in on our car, it is likely that this will be the end.
The enemy's
Ravenous Spirit
towers
going
have
out,
fallen.
trying to get some value. Going to try to punish the enemy Alexstrasza for moving up so far, but very likely she will be able to escape with her ult. In fact, she does. Trying to get some damage off on the enemies. However, it is not enough as the enemies are far too tanky and I'm the only source of damage on my entire team. Orphea pushing up. About to get triple tapped. Going to be try to finish her off with my ultimate. Unsuccessful. However, most of them are very low and will be retreating. Diablo with the excellent call to kill someone. Enemy team taking our friendly Merc camp. We are still very far behind on XP.
A seed has been planted. It will sprout before you know it.
The enemy team taking another Merc camp as we are forced to give this seed because we simply do not have the XP. Even moving up to collect the XP is incredibly dangerous, as our minion wave has pushed out pretty far.
A seed has sprouted.
It looks like we are
Best not
again
fight
going to
over
have to
it,
give the
hmm?
seed. Although whether Nova will listen to this, time only knows. Attempting to clear out some waves just to get some basic XP. In a very bad position here. The enemies were likely rotating down upon us, and Nova might get caught out. Nazebo again calling for 20, despite the fact that that is what we are doing. Enemy team massing for a push in the middle lane. Although they may instead opt to go for the bot lane where there is no structure in the way.
Another seed is about to sprout, heroes. Be ready for it.
Trying to just barely collect enough XP to get something done, and Nazebo getting, or Nova getting hooked, and will likely fall. Nazebo falling marks another seed that we will have to give.
Ah, there it is. Gather the seed before your enemy does.
Use a talent.
Attempting to get some damage off to defend this keep. It is not enough. The enemy team simply has too much damage, and our Anduin getting hooked will likely spell his death. However, the enemy's not able to follow up in time, getting caught in the crushing maw of Orphea. Ravenous Spirit attempting to finish off the Orphea, and it is indeed successful.
Our core feels ouchy.
Core being damaged by mercs, and it looks like the enemy team will be obtaining the last seed of the game. 3 Garden Terrors pushing upon our core will be enough to end this game.
That seed is ready for gathering. I suggest you do it now.
The enemies managed to quick cap. They do not. Diablo getting gorged and put into a fort is likely going to spell the loss of this fight. However, the life grip from Anduin doing good work and saving our friendly Diablo. I'm going to try to channel this, however, Stitches will interrupt. I'm going to try to put some pressure on him, but I do not do enough damage using my ultimate to hopefully secure a kill, and I am indeed successful in securing the Zarya's death. I'm using my dash to go in, trying to get some nice damage off on the Alexstrasza and finish her off. We are successful, however, minions are now on our core. Clearing out the catapults, having already lost 40% of the HP of our core to minions, hurts. Although we were able to succeed in obtaining the second seed.
A seed has been planted. It will sprout before you know it.
Nova trying to take camp and trying her best. The wave in the bottom lane will push right into our core if unchecked. Obtaining this seed will be our way back into this game, although with them having all of their structures,
You do it now.
I do not believe that we will be able to continue this game. We do secure the Garden Terrors, however, whether that will actually prove useful has yet to be seen. Pressing all of my abilities in a frantic effort to get something done, we are successful in taking down 3 of the enemy team. Nova using triple tap and getting no value out of it as per usual. Pushing with our Garden Terrors, obtaining the first fort of our team. Going to attempt to go out for it all in. This is an all or nothing play. Going to try to secure the enemy's core. Diablo going very far in. I'm using my ultimate to try to just push the enemies out. However, it is likely they will be able to regen this HP and Orphea will not be taken down. Everybody needs to focus the core if we wish to win. Give me this fucking regen globe, please. Will we be able to secure the fort and take the turnaround victory? It looks like, against all odds, we have won. This song does not fit my mood. Nova, mad in chat, as per usual. Nearly getting out of Gold 1. Obtaining a treasure chest, very likely to gain Jaina, who I already have. 100 shards, my favorite. Hey, Willow here. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope to see you again.